Here's an example of cupping. By cupping we mean the position of the left wrist at the top of the backswing, which makes it easy to understand. When the left wrist becomes cupped or angled at the top of the backswing, the club face is generally open in relation to the body. Most people who have this cup position will generally be slicers, as their downswing path will tend to be steep as they try to clear their body to square the club face. Looking from the behind, the downswing path will usually be steep and outside in, cutting across the ball. When we try and analyse the reason someone becomes cupped at the top, the first thing we'll look at is the grip. It's usually a result of a weak grip, and it's usually their hand and shaft position and body position is all wrong in the setup. Compare the different wrist angles and body positions in the two examples here. On the right side we see the person who's cupped at the top of the swing. You can notice on his left side he has a lot of angle down the left side of his body, while his right side is almost straight. His wrists are matching what his body looks like. His left wrist is angled and his right wrist is bowed. Looking at the model on the left hand side, the left side is almost straight, the right side of his body has an angle, and the angles in his wrists match the angles in his body. This is a correct setup and will help a lot of people with this cupping issue. Looking at the setup from behind, the lack of angle in the right wrist is quite evident in the student here. His right arm is almost riding up high away from his body, and if you're looking at the model on the left hand side, the right arm is tucked down to the side of the body. This would indicate, looking from the front angle, that he had some angle in his right wrist which matches the angle in his body. So looking at the student from the start to the top, the lack of wrist angle at the start, the hands being too far back, when we reach the top of the swing, you can see that angle in the left wrist, almost the same angle as he had at the start. So at the top of the swing he has almost no angle in his right wrist, while he has an angle in his left wrist. This is called cupped. The model, on the other hand, is quite the opposite. Almost no angle in his left wrist and an angle in his right wrist at the top of the swing. This is the correct wrist angles at the top of the swing. So from the cup position at the top of the swing, the student's club face will be open on the way down, and he will try and clear his body out of the way and cut across the ball, as we see here, which produces inconsistent in contact, high ball flight, and often slicing. The model's club face on the way down is square because his wrist angles remain the same. He approaches the ball from a more shallow or inside path and hits the ball, maintaining the angles in his wrist that he had at the start. From the front view, once again, setting up with better body angles, the model on the left, you'll notice he has angle in his right side, and almost a lot straighter right side, while the student has more angle in his left and no angle in the right. Coming into the ball, we know he's cupped at the top and no wrist angles at the impact position. The model maintains his wrists and body angles throughout the swing. No need for cupping, club face stays square to the body, and he still has that same wrist and body angle at impact.